Welcome back, everyone, to another kind of mod spotlight. It's going to be for a submod for Old World Blues, and it is Shattered Wasteland. You've probably all seen it if you enjoy Old World Blues, but I'll check it out anyway. So essentially, what the premise of this mod is that for various reasons, the NCR and Kaiser's Legion are not as powerful as they normally are, which allows for a lot more of some of the other factions that exist in the lore, mainly from Fallout 1 and 2, to be around, and also some of the like tribes and peoples that the Kaiser Legion would be eventually incorporating. And yeah, so it's basically in development, and its main idea is to add a little bit more variety, which is always great, and new, new playable nations, new flavor for some of the existing playable nations, and changing around a little bit how the dynamic of the game plays out between, of course, what is now still known as the Shady Sands Republic, because of Shady Sands, which hasn't formed the NCR yet, and Kaiser. So instead of having the two behemoths, and then kind of the nuisance of the Brotherhood, the nuisance of people up here like Troll Warren, you have that at the beginning. NCR is very small. Kaiser looks big, but he's actually not that strong, and so there's a lot of opportunities for other powers to rise up, and to have that be a thing, they also added a lot of focus trees. Now, the main little states that were added are the hub, which is kind of like the Venice, in a way, the merchant republic of the Fallout world. They are focused on generally trade, unless they try to do something else with their politics. Generally focused on getting a lot of money for themselves. So, yeah, defensive plus lots of mercenaries, all that kind of stuff, if you want to be that kind of guy. And there's the Boneyard state. The Boneyard's like basically big ruins of LA, and yeah, so obviously all of these have their own like kind of lore that's derived from, again, Fallout 1 or 2. Here you can either stay with your current kind of democratic system, or you can actually have Lee Oliver in charge and be kind of a crazy guy. And then there's a lot of people that you can fight. So obviously just a kind of standard focus tree, not that weird. Although I do love how there's plenty of events that are fired from the focuses. And there's even some things that you can do with your Air Force down here, the Los Angeles Air Force Base. So that's pretty good. You can get some power armor. It's always very nice. It's interesting. So looks like they have quite a strong military line of the focus tree. I haven't played as anyone except NCR in this. So yeah, there's a little tiny thing called the Master's Remnants. Obviously this is like the kind of villain of the first game, although he's not really, like, he's very, very gray in a way. And so they're essentially like a mutant army, but yeah, they get cleaned up because they don't have a unique focus tree. They're not really like, they're not like the Troll Warren who can actually do things. Then there's a very interesting one, which is the Dayglow, and they can take 2 turns that are very weird. They can either stay with the Fredrickson way, so I haven't looked at their lore, but I think they're kind of a, see, after the oil rig, so seems like they have some kind of enclave connections, and in fact they can go ahead and become the enclave as well. So yeah, you can be the enclave and just go on a rampage because you have OP stuff, just like with New Reno, the New Reno enclave. What would be pretty funny if you had a New Reno enclave and a Dayglow enclave, but well, yeah, then you can also decide to embrace, you know, humanity, like the evolution's future, which is of course mutant, you know, the mutant race, and just recreate the Masters Empire, the Masters Movement, unity. And yeah, so I guess you can also become a mutant with Dayglow. There's obviously a bunch of little tiny guys all around, you know. And then there's Fort Sumner, which is a kind of remnant of the United States military. A bit like the Brotherhood, except a lot more low-key in a way. They don't really have anything that interesting, to be honest. I'm sure they're very strong, but like I kind of wanted to play as them because it looked like they were in a interesting position to start off with, you know, kind of isolated in the middle of nowhere. But I mean, it's not that interesting. There's this old Vegas faction. I have no idea what they're supposed to be, but they still don't have a focus tree. There's Kurtz's camp, which is actually a little interesting thing that is also in the Darkest Tower Fallout mod, Fallout Doomsday. So yeah, when they get a focus tree, I'm sure it'll be interesting. That's also essentially kind of like I think he's a remnant of some United States Special Forces, and they all got turned into ghouls. So yeah, that's... Oh. So they're essentially like the most veteran people that exist. Yeah, they're ghouls. They're like the most veteran troops that exist in the entire, basically, Fallout, you know, extended lore. So anyway, then there's a few more factions around. Here in San Francisco, there's the Hubologists. Barkley is under the Brotherhood. And then, I'm not sure if the Diablo Devils existed earlier. Then there's the Tanker Vagrants, which, I mean, the name kind of tells me that these guys are supposed to be focused on ships. Of course, they're still generic, which is kind of sad. Then there's a new little state, Woodlake, but they get absorbed because their thing over here is an NCR core. So the only thing that kind of keeps them alive is that they're guaranteed by the Barons Republic. The Barons Republic, however, might just get killed by NCR. And then there's other kind of quote-unquote well-known factions, such as Reading, Republic of Miners, essentially. And, yeah, they're kind of like a self-governed, you know, little state. Klamath, I believe, already was in Old World Blues, but there's also the Den, which is just the worst place in the Wasteland, because all these guys are like the slaver kings, essentially, of everything, but they don't have a focus tree. So, yeah, you're a little bit safe. Of course, up here, there's also these other guys who are very, very nasty. And they've incorporated the New Victoria focus tree mod, which is fine and dandy. So, yeah, you can actually have a nice game as New Victoria as well. And I don't believe they have really changed around anyone around here. But one thing that I have noticed, I'm not sure if it's the mod or anything else, is that the AI is a lot more aggressive. I'm not sure if, again, this is something that was, I don't know, part of the... Ooh. Oh, no, never mind. That's the dead horses. I'm not sure if that was, I don't know, a fluke in the AI, or if it's something that they changed with normal Old World Blues, or if it's something with, you know, the AI of Shattered Wasteland that is a lot more aggressive. I don't know. Then there's another ghoul faction, which is Reservation, and they still don't do anything because they don't have a focus tree. But yeah, these are essentially, and then I'm not sure what he's supposed to be, but he's a tree. I don't even know. He also doesn't have a focus tree. Why are you a tree? You seem to have infantry though, so at least you're not walking trees. No ends. And yeah, and then there's Catalina over here, who's another tribal. He used to be NCR just. And yeah, it's relatively compatible. Oh, and there's also, I'm not sure if it's from Hopeville. Yep. Because Hopeville over here can form the Divide, which is from the DLCs of New Vegas. And yeah, you can have Ulysses in charge of that. I haven't checked out the focus tree for them yet, but like from what I haven't looked at it in depth. But from what I've seen, he looks like a pretty interesting person to play with, because yeah, you'll see. Anyway, another thing that this mod adds, this is like the main part, so it just kind of splits everything up and makes gives more opportunities for other minor factions to, you know, enjoy a little bit of the spotlight. But one thing that I really love is this still enabled. Is that, if you remember, I was talking about how I would like for Brotherhood to be able to get some Brotherhood chapters set up everywhere. And actually, they basically did this. So essentially what you can do is that you take this recovering long lost schematics focus, and that adds the cargo zeppelin tech, and then you can do expeditions. So essentially this is to screw with the Washington Brotherhood, and that you know, supposed to do something to Port Ma. All right. Looks like it did not actually spawn the event. But anyway, it's probably because of the focus.autocomplete. Let's see if these other ones work. So there's the Northern Expedition, which is to the Haida Confederation, all the way up to the islands. It's a strategic little territory. Events or decisions timed out. Port Stevens, Tierra City, secure Morris. But that's not there. Secure Moors, I don't know. Then there's the Eastern Expedition to Tierra, just all the way down here. And what you do from there is that essentially, like in the lore, in the like old Fallout games, the Brotherhood was really fond of sending Zeppelins all the way, like, or I guess, yeah, in Fallout 4 they also do that. Yeah, establishing just far-flung outposts. So yeah, you can make the Cascadian chapter up in the north. You can make the Oregon chapter in the northwest, and then you can make the Mexico chapter as well, because why not, in the southeast. So that's very, very good. I wish that it would not be so damn... Okay, hold on. Doesn't seem like you actually got the event. But I'm sure that that's just because, yes, events or decisions time out in 3 days. But that's just not true. You're just bugged. You're just bugged, my friend. Yeah, anyway, I bugged it because I used, you know, focus.autocomplete. I really wish that I could have seen, you know, their actual chapter, you know, if they could have, like, yeah, if they have like custom leaders and stuff. But yeah, just know that you can do that, and that's awesome. Also, yeah, the Brotherhood in general, as you've probably noticed, has a new focus tree, which is more kind of updated to the new challenges that the Brotherhood has to face with this kind of wasteland. And you know, there's a lot of people that you can support or try to take over. Wow, that's a lot of factories. Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to choose essentially between getting some bonuses from getting puppets, right? Or is this just... No, actually, this is just an ally. This one is a puppet. The Protectorate of Santa Rosa. That's pretty awesome. yeah, again, it's just nice that they can actually do some of this stuff, and also they can puppet the Hubologists as the Cult of Steel. Wonder if it actually turns their name into the Cult of Steel, and they actually start to, I don't know. I'm not sure what the Hubologists are supposed to be, but yeah, it's kind of nice that the Brotherhood can puppet them, and they can deal with the Shu Empire, and they can either, you know, make the Shu chapter just like in standard Old World Blues, and then you get the Cien 85 fighter, obviously very strong, or you can still get it by securing the Chinese secrets and taking better dead than red, because communism caused the Great War. We can't allow that anymore. And then yeah, you actually seem to get the Enclave stuff as well by taking some Navarro stuff. Yeah, that's some pretty overpowered focuses that right over there. So the Brotherhood is going to be strong, and yeah, one thing that I'm not really the biggest fan of is that you can get this distinguished Wastelander recruitment, and yeah, that's, well, actually you do miss out on quite a lot of stuff. Wow. Procreation laws. That's pretty amazing. See, what's kind of funny is that I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like, you know, for the Brotherhood brothers to have plus 100%, but unfortunately you cannot do that. So the funny part is that would actually, oh, it looks like they kind of derped with the population numbers a little bit because they're all the same, but what would actually result in, I think, is like everyone fucking like crazy, and the Brotherhood, like, you know, areas just becoming incredibly populated. Oh wow, look at that. Ostil's bunker actually only has 600 people. That's kind of nice, because it makes sense. Not that many people in there. And yeah, so there's also the other part of the tree, which is obviously just, you know, just your usual military stuff. And yeah, so essentially you can get rid of the Brotherhood Old Guard recruitment system, and they can even do the, essentially just recruit anyone and everything, which is, you know, essentially like the Eastern Brotherhood. And I mean, they don't lose out that much, and yeah, to be honest, I'd probably go for this one every time, honestly, because that removes a lot of the problems with the Brotherhood. And then there's also this awesome event, Pacific Expedition. Yeah, you send your fleet to Hawaii. I wonder if I'm going to get the event if I try to cheat to it. Oh, come on, right, because he's taking a focus. Oh, well, who cares? So the other thing that I need to show to you, I think the last thing that I need to show to you is actually the new NCR, or Shady Sands, focus tree. So here, essentially, instead of strengthening and then gearing up to take on Kaisar, and then, you know, maybe getting some faction members, what you actually end up having to choose between is either this come together focus or this fight fire with fire. And that's after you take Legion contact. So the early game is going to be spent cleaning up Scorpions and Highwaymen, and then, you know, you're in the Mojave. You have the Legion contact thingamajig, and from there you can either choose. I'm actually have a save when I was playing that I can use to show to you, which is kind of annoying actually, because you have a choice between either staying quote-unquote democratic or people faction, or, oh wow, right, this is probably going to be extremely buggy because I was playing with all the submods to see if they work, and most of them do. So yeah, that's I guess a little bit of extra. But yeah, essentially the problem is here you get to choose, right? Because, you know, there's the threat of the Legion. So President steps down. We can either have Kimball will protect us, or Karina. becomes leader for the people party. The thing is, Kimball actually changes you to ruler ideology, so he removes quote-unquote democracy, which is kind of sad, to be honest, because, you know, the NCR, for all its problems, is supposed to be the like main functioning quote-unquote democracy, you know, post apocalyptic democracy. So the fact that you need to remove it to have the only useful part of the focus tree, because unfortunately this left side come together focus is bad to say the least, because what you do is that you have all these guys. As you can see, there's 8 different states that you can contact, you know, sort of middle of the line, some of the majors actually. So, you know, you have the Desert Rangers, you can ask them for an alliance, and if you get that, then you can take a focus that's gonna just have a lot of bonuses to your Rangers, and the Desert Rangers are gonna get minus 10% consumer goods factories, and then all the other guys get minus 10% consumer goods factories, except for the hub, which gives it to you in return for something. So Reading, mining town, has a mining agreement, you get more resources. The Barrens is population. The hub, obviously, we saw that. The Boneyard gives you infantry equipment stuff with, because of the gun runners. Research agreement with Dayglow, who are the guys in the southeast, if you remember that. Then Brotherhood of Steel, you get power armor. And then the Shu, you get the Xian fighter. The problem is they can refuse. And if they refuse, well, the only way you can actually get these other focuses is if you get them in the faction in some other way, which is relatively okay for someone who might join you, like the Rangers, if the Rangers either stay with Snake Vargas, or actually no, that would not work out, because this in here you'd be staying with the people ideology. So I guess if they take the NCR, you know, path, where is it? Yeah, Hellraiser over here for the Ranger Unification Treaty. If they take the Ranger Unification Treaty, then, you know, you can get them in your faction pretty easy. But they're the easier one to get in the factions, because the Barrens Republic usually just does not like you, because you claim the same stuff, and then you can easily go to war over this central buffer state. And they're also elite faction, so they just generally dislike you. Reading, maybe you're gonna get a chance to get them in your faction, so I guess that's okay. The hub, again, maybe, but they're also the elite faction, and so only if really someone else is attacking them, they're gonna turn to you. And you'd rather just, you know, take them over anyway, because they're right next to you. And then the Boneyard, again, you would just rather take them out, because they're right next to you and they've got a lot of really good stuff in their country, you know. And if you take the other side, you know, you can actually get an Annex War Goal against them. So you don't really need this thing, because you can do the same thing on the other side. Nationalize the gun runners as opposed to the gun runner agreement. So again, this probably overall is in a way a little bit better, you could say. But, you know, and also if you choose Kimball, you're gonna turn to New California Republic, which obviously is pretty damn good, because, you know, you're gonna go on an expansionist rampage and you're actually gonna be, you know, the NCR. And overall, I feel like that's just, in a way, more fun to play and more interesting, because, you know, you have a lot of really bad things that you can get into. So obviously you can fight, you know, on this side you can fight the Mojave Raiders, obviously, and the Masters Remnants. That's just the appetizers, right? After you've dealt with that, you get to fight Mojave Chapter, and usually if you fight Mojave Chapter, the, you know, Western Brotherhood might attack you, so there's already that problem. And there's Vegas, who can actually join you, and in the game I played, he joined me as a puppet, So I don't know. Perhaps you do that. And the thing that's unfortunate about that is that for the focus that you get after taking down Vegas to get howitzers, which is obviously pretty damn nice, because normally you'd have to wait until like, or actually maybe we can't even. Hold on. Support. Yeah, we'd need to be advanced. Can you even become advanced? I don't think you can. Build that wall. Yeah, no, I don't think you can become advanced. In fact, one of the things that's kind of a problem of this focus tree is that you don't get research slots at all. So you're stuck for free like the entire game. Just kind of derpy. I mean, at least one more they could give it to you. And they could at least also give you some kind of way to advance to advanced, you know. But, well, that's fine. So, yeah, to get those howitzers, you need to actually own Nellis Air Force Base, you know, the boomers. And if Vegas joins you, you don't own it. But there's no flag for, you know, owned or owned by a subject. There's just owned, which is relatively sad, I'd say. And then there's, you know, you can take down Hoover Dam. And then at the end, our greatest foe is that you essentially have to choose between getting a war goal on Brotherhood or Caesar. And so, yeah, this is the expansionist line. And the other right side, instead of advancing towards Caesar, it's just the hub, Boneyard, and Barons. Although the hub one is bugged and does not actually give you a war goal. You can just do it manually, really. It's no problem. So yeah, that's basically Shattered Wasteland. Yeah.
What's up?
I don't know what else to say. Probably forgot about something, but yeah, and of course, one thing that I did forget to mention is that these Brotherhood chapters do have their own special focuses. I am pretty sure because it says on the thing's description. So yeah, and now I really think that I did not forget anything. So yeah. Want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Have a good day.